like our super organic intro here?
Well, I was actually thinking about a hard intro on this one.
All
Just a
right,
quick, hey guys, we're back type of thing.
sure. Why don't you do it?
All right. So, hey guys, we're back. um,
What
Thank
up?
you for hanging around for a second. We've been busy. Slav had the wedding. I was traveling to the wedding and back, and then had stuff going on my own. So, we are thankful for your patience, and we are happy to be back here with you. Happy to be catching up again.
Well, you had a lot of travel because you had to like travel all the way up here, and then you had to travel to Israel, and
Yeah.
you've only just got back in now.
Yeah, I mean, things were tense in Israel. I mean, I had a lot of things I was juggling, a lot of people, conflicting interests on both sides. Great
Yeah,
people on both sides, too.
they were not happy about the wedding. I'll say that much.
Oh, see, most of their weddings don't go so well. We do a couple of things over there for their weddings.
Dude, have you seen the? Well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but have you seen these like guys like with like a little like paraglider buggies flying into Israel?
Yo, that's sick as fuck. No, I haven't
Like
have
they
not
have
seen
little
that.
like gliding gyrocopters or something. It's fucking hilarious.
Like they got like a go-kart and just put a fucking
Yeah,
hang
like you
wing
know
on there.
exactly what I'm talking about. Like it's like it's like a dune buggy with a paraglider parachute, and they're just like you just see just like Arabs flying into Tel Aviv or whatever.
Dude, the boys
It's probably
pulling
not
up.
Tel Aviv, but
That's crazy.
it is crazy. Anyways, yeah, dude, fucking, it was a big thing. It was big. I mean, how long did we? How
Oh
long has it
my
been since the last
god,
step?
what's going on? Sorry, my cats were just fucking knocking stuff over outside. I just heard a big ruckus, so
Dude, we are just back in usual form immediately.
yeah,
Uh,
immediately. But yeah, dude, it was a big thing. We met for the first time. I did a little bit of a recap on the Patreon just when I was driving to work, just some thoughts.
mhm,
But yeah, man, it was great to meet you for the very first time and meet your lovely wife.
that's right.
To meet your friends, some of which actually listened to the pod, it turns out. So that was a cool thing and kind of off, like a little bit, caught me off guard a little bit at times.
Right.
But it was definitely cool and comforting to meet people who kind of already knew what I was about. So there were no surprises, which is kind of cool.
Totally. Yeah, no, it was awesome, man. It was awesome. The wedding was awesome. It was great to meet you. It was honestly like it was cool. It was cool us doing the meetup at a really busy thing too, because
Yeah.
then I feel like there's a lot less pressure on the whole
Hmm.
like, all right, like is it going to be chill thing, you know? Like,
Yeah.
and it's more just like, all right, there's a lot fucking going on. We're just going to like I was like losing my mind already. So it was
Hmm.
like, you know what I mean? It was just a lot of moving, and you help with the dog, which was cool, and
I did meet Wallace and help with Wallace, and that
he,
was great.
he's a real one.
Yeah, he is a real one. He's so fucking goofy looking, bro. It's crazy.
He's a pretty fucking weird dog. But yeah, man, and I mean to all those curious about it, I mean you experienced it kind of as a guest, but I feel like it went pretty much without a hitch.
I think it went good. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what y'all had in mind or anything like to know how it lived up to your expectations, but from my point of view, yeah, everything went great.
Yeah, it was, I mean, without giving too much info, I don't even know what's like too much info at this point. But basically just like it was kind of a big production. It was a
Hmm.
multi-day thing, basically,
Hmm.
right? And yeah, I mean, nothing really went wrong. We had one person in the wedding party drop out because they got bat flu.
Oh, dude, a lot of it
Um,
going around right now.
yep, yep, there is. It's actually funny because my sister and her partner like texted us like 2 days after the wedding. They're like, "Hey, we have COVID," and we were just like, "Whatever, I don't care."
Yeah.
Um,
You're like, what do you want? You want us to tell other people? It's not like that anymore.
yeah, yeah, you want a cookie or something? Um, but yeah, it was beautiful.
It was
I'm
a beautiful ceremony for sure.
Yeah, and fucking a man, there was a lot of moving parts. I think it went pretty well.
Hmm.
Cake was bussing, the food was bussing.
Yeah, dude,
Um,
I didn't even get any of the cake. I didn't even think about it. Like, I got too caught up in just like talking with people and everything going on, and I was like, oh, I think I could have had that almond cake.
well, you were
Um,
talking to Figgy at that point too, right?
yes.
Like,
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm calling him by his nickname now because I think we had talked about potentially having him on.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, we'll probably say it in the future, but
Yeah, we got into the weeds.
oh yeah, I was stoked about that too because like I was stoked for you to talk to a couple of people in particular. So
Yeah, man, it was great. It was good meeting everybody, and just seeing everyone that kind of informs your life and who you are, and kind of getting that side of things, so I can have that as like background in my mind. And then also like now just seeing you in person, so now I can like imagine a face and micro expressions and like facial expressions and stuff when we're
yeah.
talking. So that's a nice thing that wasn't there before.
Dude, it's funny. Well, it's funny too, kind of similar to what I was saying earlier, just about like just about how like you worry about it being a little awkward, right?
Hmm.
And like so you got in really late at night,
Yeah.
and or at least arrived where we were all staying.
Hmm.
And so like we were all outside like having a bonfire. And so it was funny because like the first time I really have a conversation with you is still basically pitch black out.
Yeah, yeah.
And so we can still barely see each other.
And it's still in front of an audience of people to a degree.
Right. Which was also funny because we're like talking to my wife, one of my wife's friends, and he's like, oh, like, how do you guys know each other? We're like, podcast. And he's like, oh, what's it called? And we're like, well, we can't really, say. And then he's just kind of talking. And he's like, oh yeah, and he's being really nice.
Yeah,
right?
he got it for sure.
Yeah, he's like being super chill. But it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, oh, we just kind of talk about stuff,
Yeah, yeah. No, he was cool, dude. I ended up talking with him. I didn't know that he was friends, but I didn't know
You
like
just
how
said
he
the name,
worked
by the
into
way.
the. Oh shit! I'll cut that out. I'll beat that one out.
It's all good.
Fuck. But yeah, I see. I was
I
worried this
literally-
might happen a little bit.
I literally knew this was going to happen this week. It's totally fine.
Okay, yeah.
just
Well, I'll
make a note
definitely
of it.
bleep that one. So that's around 6 minutes. Anyhow, I didn't know how he worked into the equation, but I ended up talking with him and his girlfriend that was with him for a while, and we talked about like music festivals and drug bans and stuff like that. So that was great for me.
So
They're good
actually,
people.
cool thing, kind of a small world effect here. You remember when we had Crypto Psy on, and he was talking about we were talking about like hippie architecture.
Oh yeah.
And he was talking about how he knew some lady up around my neck of the woods that sold dome houses. That guy and his fiance live in a dome house.
Oh, yo, no shit. That's cool.
And we helped him put it together.
Oh, that's who it was. Okay, yeah, that makes sense too. Man, hell yeah.
Yep. Apparently,
bunch of cool people,
I think
dude.
I was hearing him talk. I think it actually has ended up being a little bit of a pain in the ass for him. But
I
it's
could see that.
yeah. I think they didn't insulate it, and they were
Oh.
told that they could just use like a wood burning stove. But it's been kind of a pain in the ass, I guess.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Dude,
Anyways,
it gets
total
a little
segue.
chilly, and trying to combat like the cold without the proper equipment is just kind of a nightmare.
Right.
I
Well,
was,
and honestly, it's interesting because he was like bitching about it, and it was like, man, we're like just coming out of the summer too, so like,
Oh, he's gonna be fucked later on. Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say it's like that's gonna be bad, isn't it?
Dude, that was another thing, like the climate shift for me. Because it had been pretty hot here all summer long, and then I just showed up there and it was like 50 degrees, kind of brisk a little bit in the air. So that was like a nice little thing. I was like, oh, dude, fuck yeah. Weather that's not miserable. Nice scenery. Everything was pretty great, man. So definitely thankful that you and your wife included me on that weekend. And
Oh yeah, of course, man. No, I mean honestly, it was like it was beautiful. It was like genuinely a blessing where the whole week up until we left, right? It was pouring, dude. It was pouring. And we had like a decently warm summer, and we hadn't had a lot of rain. And then it was just dumping and dumping and dumping and dumping. And, we had been like, oh, well, like we're like doing like a end of September wedding. Like, I guess we're kind of getting what we asked for, which by the way, the only reason we had an end of September wedding is because her family wanted to go on a motherfucking vacation that delayed my proposal. And so I blame them. But anyways, and it's raining and it's raining. And the night before we're leaving, I'm like, dude, like like, are the roads gonna fucking flood? Like, is my mom not, my mom's in an area where, water levels can really trap you where you're at, right?
Sure. I feel like there's a
And
lot of areas like that up in that area, dude. There's just so much water fucking everywhere, and stuff's built right up next to the water, and
yep, we'll
yeah.
a lot of the time too, like farm areas with streams and shit, right? So,
Oh yeah,
um,
a lot of diverted water. That's a problem we have in the city a lot, where it's just like just so much diverted water from being like big grass fields that don't suck up as much water as they could, or like a bunch of concrete or buildings or whatever rooftops, and it causes a lot of water flowing in places where it doesn't really have the capacity to hold that much, so there's a
right,
lot of flooding and shit like that.
yeah. So like, I'm fucking losing my shit about that. It's like the night before we leave, and because like I said, it was like a multi-day thing, right? It was like we like left Thursday morning, set up Thursday, Friday, wedding on Saturday, leave Sunday, right?
Mhm.
And excuse me. And dude, we get on the boat and we get off at our destination day, like on the departure day.
Mhm.
And the second we fucking land, the clouds literally part, the sun comes out, and it does not go away
Oh.
until like the evening of Sunday.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It
Yeah, it was
was
beautiful the whole time.
it was beautiful the whole time. And then Monday morning it was just like dumping again.
Yeah, that's God shining down a blessing upon y'all's union, bro. That's what that is.
Dude, straight up. Straight up. So, I loved it. I mean, we didn't get married like in a church. We got, the officiant was my like Buddhist friend.
Hmm.
But like honestly,
He seemed to get the program, of what
what was
y'all are
that?
going for. He seemed like he got the program of what y'all are going for. So
Oh, well, no, and you saw, dude. It's like we had biblical stuff in it. We did the
hmm.
lasso. We did that was like that was some Mexican shit,
Yeah, that was cool. I've never seen that before. I liked it.
dude. Honestly, I had barely seen it before
A
too.
little cultural appropriation, always nice, dude.
Dude, 100%. Uh, and I felt like it was good. I felt like it was balanced,
Hmm.
and I've been to weddings that are like in churches and
Yeah.
are really like, because straight up, like you know, we're still living in sin right now because we're not married within the church, right?
Okay.
So like we need to get our priest to like bless our marriage and
Oh, I
yada yada
see.
yada. We had planned on doing that, but it's like, well, now I'm kind of getting into the weeds here, but I'll go into it, right? We had done that, and then there was just all this clerical runaround nightmare bullshit,
Sure.
with like the nuns who just didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Um,
Bureaucracy, huh?
yeah, I'll apologize for this in confession. Um, and so at that point, it was just like, dude, whatever. Like, let's just do the wedding that we're gonna do. Point is, I was just gonna say is I've been to weddings that are like in churches, and like I feel like this was, um, I don't know. It's like you can't tell me that those are more legitimate than what we
Yeah,
did. You know what I
this
mean?
felt just really authentic. I think that's really what it's about. And I mean, this is getting into the argument of the whole spirit of the thing versus the actual like traditional
Yep.
ritual of the thing. But I think that the spirit of the thing is the most important in this kind of scenario.
It
And
wasn't to the letter of the law, but I didn't really want that, and
right,
and
I
so
mean,
it
you
was
aren't very
cool. And
conventional people. I feel like in that sense, anyhow. So it would be kind of, I mean, I feel like it would be kind of a hard turn if you were just like, we're gonna do this super traditionally, like to the letter of the law on
well,
this.
no, like exactly right. And it was honestly, it was like kind of one of these things. It's like, dude, like I was talking to her, and I'm like, I've lived my entire life not being religious up until the last like 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna just do a complete 180 and have like the most orthodox wedding ever.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure. That would be like whiplash for some people, probably.
totally. And like the father at our parish has already talked to us about like, oh, I want to come bless your home and yada yada. And
Oh,
so
nice. Yeah.
we're all set. But it was awesome. I feel like I got away with something. You got to see my band play.
That
Um,
was cool for
you got to
sure.
see me play
Uh huh.
for the first time in probably 3 years. So I was
Laying
really
it
rusty.
down. Yeah, yeah, that was cool.
And yeah, my boy on the bass.
Fuck yeah.
And
We had a
yeah,
little bit of
man. I
beef.
mean, I don't want to ramble too much about it, but it was cool, man. And I mean, me and the wife are just like really, really thankful that you could make it up, because that was I mean, not even just bullshitting you. That was genuinely one of the highlights of the whole experience for
Oh,
us.
good. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
I love that.
it was
Oh,
awesome.
dude, I sent a thing up to y'all. It should be there tomorrow.
You were
Uh,
saying that, yeah.
so
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm
I'm
stoked.
excited for you. I didn't really like, I don't know. I didn't know what the protocol was. I didn't go off the registry or anything like that. I just wanted to do something that was personal. So yeah, my bad if that's like if that's not kosher or whatever. But I just felt like it was something I wanted
Oh
to
no,
do.
no, you're all good, dude. Honestly, I'm not even really into like the registry shit in the first place. Like our registry was just like, dude, like give us money, or like if you can't give us money, just like just anything, right?
Hmm.
It's either like if you want to give us money because you can swing that, do that because that rules, and we can just pay for the wedding. Otherwise, just like the literal best possible thing is just like whatever thoughtful shit anybody can send
Yeah.
over to us. I hate the idea of like, I guess people are out here fucking putting together catalogs of specific plates and shit they
Oh, they
want.
are. Yeah, definitely.
I don't I don't know, man. Like, dude, honestly, it's funny. Like, I'm self-conscious because I remember we got like one sassy YouTube comment on the episode where I talked about the lead up to the wedding, where
Oh, did
someone was
we?
like, yeah, I honestly, I'm probably reading into it too much. I shouldn't even
Oh,
say
the
this.
one that was like you couldn't even read it. It wasn't even really English. I was like, what the
Yeah,
hell
yeah, well,
are y'all talking about?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude, fuck
uh,
that. Whatever.
I feel weird talking about it a little bit, but fuck it, I'll just go into it. Like, we had such a, even just like, I mean, okay, I don't necessarily want to say like what the wedding was because I feel like maybe that's too much information, but probably like in the future when more time has passed, maybe I will, right?
Hmm.
But like, you can just attest it was like a really outdoorsy kind of, I hate the word quirky, but just a creative kind of thing,
It
right?
definitely was creative. It had
It
a
was
couple
creative
twists.
and it worked like really
Hmm.
well.
Yeah.
Um but it just had me thinking about like, dude, okay, when we were up there and it was like the ceremony,
Hmm.
um like I'm sitting there, or no, I'm not sitting there specifically. You were sitting there. I'm
I was
standing
sitting
there.
there. You were standing there. Yeah. You had the weight of the world on you in that moment, dude.
Well, right.
Big
And dude,
moment.
the thing I was kind of thinking about a tiny bit in the moment, but mostly like after, was like, dude, you're standing there, and I'm like, oh, like, well, what I was thinking about in the moment is like, oh, I'm under this like immense pressure that just presses diamonds together, right?
Hmm.
Of just like this emotional pressure cooker, and it's all totally organic and totally authentic. And afterwards, I was thinking about like, dude, think about these people who like ride a limousine to their wedding venue that day,
Yeah.
and they like get married in some big huge sanitized building that like has no emotional relevance to them, and everything's perfectly manicured and coordinated, and it's all really really like contrived, I guess is the best word to put it.
Hmm.
What, all I can think about is if I'm standing up there and I'm like reading my vows and I'm going through the whole thing and I'm like displaying um my love for my wife, yada yada yada, that whole
Yada,
bullshit.
yada, yada.
um like, it's the kind of thing where it's like I'm gonna be up there and I'll have spent like 50 grand on this super gay fancy wedding, and I'll be up there just being like incapable of actually having a natural, honest, emotional experience.
Yeah, in the moment.
I'll just like be up there being like, is this 60 grand worth of emotions? Or like,
Yeah.
when I cry, am I gonna like do it in a way that's really theatrical for the video? Whereas like the way we did it, it was like this really warm kind of like, everybody that was there needed to be there. Basically, we didn't have like my dentist's cousin's dog
Yeah.
walker,
Just
right?
some obligation shit, like where you have to pay tribute and be like, yeah, I kind of have to invite this person to the wedding.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly, right? There was none of that, and it was all authentic shit. We wrote the whole ceremony, right? All that. And I guess that is the best thing I can say, is that it was like, it was real. And
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of these industrial weddings. It's an industry, and they're industrial weddings. Like, I don't know how you can have like at least I wouldn't be able to have an authentic emotional experience.
Yeah, I wouldn't think that either. I mean, I've been to weddings and I know friends of mine that are like planning weddings and have put out registries and stuff. And like, I think it spans, there's a lot of different approaches to a wedding, but like, I have friends that have registries that have like a specific, serving dish that's like $129 and like serving tongs that are like $215. You're like,
It's so
what are you
dumb.
talking about, dude? Why would I ever get you this? You know what I mean? Like, why do you need $215 tongs? What's going on? So yeah, there's definitely a lot of weird like commercialism that gets squeezed into weddings. Like Capital finds its way to like really get in there pretty good.
No, exactly, right? And like, I don't. Yeah, exactly.
Same with funerals, dude. Funerals are fucked in the same way.
100% with funerals. 100% with funerals. That's like, that's why I just want like Wallace to eat me when I die.
Yeah, dude. That's why I got cats. I'm like, all right, they'll probably put some work in and get rid of me.
Dude, just do the work.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was a blessing to have that experience be what it was. And honestly, I've kind of just at this point now, like kind of speaking more to where I'm at now, like, and I don't know about you, probably a similar thing, because you had to fucking travel, right? I'm still kind of recovering a little bit. Like that whole week kicked my ass.
Yeah, I got home and then immediately went to work, and then I worked the next 2 days and then left and went and we hit the road to play a couple of shows with the band. So then I traveled, had a 26-hour day that Thursday and Friday. So yeah, I've been kind of up and busy. So yeah, I've been a little worn out, but it's good, man. It's all been good stuff. Like, I was happy to travel to come out there and meet y'all. It was somewhere I had never been before, so that was really great. And it was like, I don't know, I got to see Seattle in all of its glory, in the sunlight, and I get to see all the water and all the like the really beautiful trees, and I also got to see all the homeless people and all the dope heads and all of that. So it was nice. And then I also got to see like pristine wilderness and then display of love and everything. So that powered me through all the travel.
Yep.
And that was really nice.
It was like we were talking about, I think one of my buddies and you and me were talking about, like, you got to go through Seattle, right? Which is the worst of Washington. And then we had the wedding out on one of the islands, and like, they're unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like,
that's unreal.
It is unreal. Like, I specifically remember, because it's always like the kind of like grass is always greener kind of thing. And so I remember, Japan was one of my biggest. I mean, that was the easily the single biggest trip I've ever been on. That was the only international travel I've really done. And I remember being like, "Oh man, it's gonna be so crazy!" Like, because it's easy to conflate like, I guess like something being foreign with being like pretty.
Yeah.
And I remember driving through Japan and just being like, this place is like, to be fair, the countryside of a lot of Japan that I saw is like kind of ugly. Not all of it. Like, I don't want to be unfair. There's a decent amount that's pretty. But like, dude, Washington, and especially just like the island county and everything,
dude,
just,
I mean, all of that's unreal.
Unbelievable, dude. And yeah, dude, like, just the I think I was telling you, right? Like, we took the ferry out, and the ferry is really something special, because the ferry is like, dude, you drive through Seattle and you see like cube houses and PMC fucking Indian people, fucking crazy shit, right? The moon rover.
Yeah.
And dude, Griff Shop sent me a picture of the Indian like moon landing, like, and it looked like a 3D image, and he just like was just like LOL. But no,
so ridiculous.
Yeah. Dude, shout out Griff. No, but you see all that, the flat design shit, new Seattle, right? And then you go to the fucking ferry terminal and you see just all of these kind of like curmudgeonly, slightly heavyset people wearing traffic vests, guiding people onto the ferry. And it's like kind of shabby.
Real shabby.
and it's just weird. It's just fucking weird, and it's like a parking lot on the water.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, that is what Seattle always
With like a
was.
school cafeteria in it.
No,
Like a
right. And
small
like,
one.
and only like a couple days of the week it's open, and you can get like a corn dog on it.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome, dude. It's so fucking sick. And I love it. And I remember like, dude, on like field trips for school, we would go on that all the time. And yeah, I think you mentioned to me, like, dude, they just like kind of just let you just walk on. Like, there's
Oh
not
yeah.
really, there's no security.
It's so informal. Dude, okay, so I got there and I bought my ticket and I was the only one in like the whole terminal area waiting. And it had been a long day and I don't know how it happened, but I somehow lost my ticket within minutes, 2 to 3 minutes.
Dude, I bet they didn't
And
even give a shit.
oh, they didn't care at all. I walked up to the window and I was like, "Look, I don't know how it happened, but I lost my ticket." And they're like, "Oh, we'll just look around and maybe you'll find it." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not finding it. Like I've been looking thoroughly and I don't know what could have happened." And they're like, "All right, we'll just wait a little while and if it comes up, it comes up, and if not, I'll give you a voucher." And then like 10 minutes before the ferry showed up, they were like, "Hey, come up here." And they just wrote me like a note on the back of a receipt paper. And I just took that up and showed it to the lady, and she was like, "All right, yeah, it looks good." So it was super chill compared to like the entry process for a plane or anything like that.
Yeah. Yeah. When like, it's like, it's like flying on a plane in the 60s.
Dude, yeah, it had that vibe. It
You just
seemed,
kind of
dude, it
walk
was
up.
fun.
You kind of just walk up. Like, you're not supposed to, but you could probably just like blast a cigarette somewhere and get away with it.
Oh, dude, I was blasting joints and hitting my pin on the side. That's just what it was fine. I wasn't smoking the joint on the ferry, but at the station.
You can do the pen pretty easily, to be
Yeah, you can do
honest.
that pretty much anywhere. That's why I
Yeah.
fuck with those. I fly with it. I'll hit it in the airport bathroom. I used to smoke it in the smoking section when they had a smoking section at airports, but now they're fucking taking them away everywhere. It's fucked.
Dude, they're trying to domesticate us.
They are, dude. They're trying to take away our fucking medicine, bro. Give us their poison. Ban our cures.
Well, did you did you get back to the airport all right? I know you left fucking early
Yeah,
as
dude. I
hell.
took a ferry. That was like the first ferry out. The sun rose while we were on the water, so it
Magic.
rose up over the mountains because that's like from the east, and then over. It was like, man, it was so beautiful. Seagulls flying in the air, really cool shit. Yeah, it was a
Hell
great way to like cap off the weekend. And then I had like a super long day of travel back, and I almost missed my flight, my like second flight home because I had a connecting flight, and when I got on my first flight, we like taxied a little bit, and then some lady got up and was like, "Let me off of here. I need off the plane." And they were like, "What are you talking about?" And she was like, "I need off the plane." And she wouldn't give a reason why. And they were like, they thought it was an emergency, so they went back to the gate and let her off the fucking plane. And as they're like getting the door open and stuff, they found out it's just because she thought she was gonna miss her connecting flight. And so she ended up delaying the flight like an hour and a half, getting off the flight to stay in Seattle. Whereas the whole plane pretty much had connecting flights, and we like multiple people missed their flight because we were tracking them on the way there,
Dude,
and like I
amazing.
almost missed mine. It was such a whole thing. Like
Dude, what a
she did like the this motherfucker is not real thing, but without actually being fun or anything. It was just like she just got off the plane.
god damn.
It was
Well,
a bummer. But
dude, pray
I
for him.
sprinted in the terminal. I made it to my plane in the last call, and I sat down and I watched 2 episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm for the first time in my life. And
Nice.
it was pretty funny, and yeah, it was pretty good, man.
Dude, the new season of Curb about to be crazy after this last weekend.
Holy fuck. Dude, big Israel supporter.
I know, big time. Big time. Taking an educated guess.
Yeah, big member of the tribe. So yeah, dude, Israel's fucking war in Israel, dude. Two
Dude.
wars, one war. There's a war going on in Israel.
All right, right now, okay. Right now, this is I'm gonna front load by giving my prediction. Okay.
Okay, let's hear it.
My prediction is that okay, so Ukraine's fucked, and Ukraine has been fucked for quite a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
But nobody wants to admit it. And if
Mhm.
you ask a normie, they just literally they're still caught in like those 2 weeks where Russia was like getting humiliated.
They're on the ropes. Yeah.
Which I guess is just kind of how like Russia fights wars, I guess, is they just like let themselves get kicked in the nuts until their adversary's tired.
Yeah. War of attrition, bro. Yeah.
Something like that. It's, dude, just like frozen peasant mindset.
They're like, we got plenty of people. Bring it on.
Yeah, dude. Exactly, dude. I think what's going to happen is that oh my gosh. For a sec, I was like about to just get mad because someone like pushed the door open, and it's straight up just the dog. He just pushes the door open with his face. What's up, dude?
It looks like he pushes some doors open with his face, bro.
Dude, flat ass face. Lay down. All right, cool. You're chill.
Does he have anything to say about Israel?
He says, what is that? I'm not going to say 1488, okay? What the fuck is wrong with you, dude? Okay, anyway, so I think that what's going to happen is that it's going to give them the perfect bow out, and they're going to basically, they're going to direct funds towards Israel. They're going to start de-emphasizing Ukraine. And then all of the libs get to go, well, yeah, like Ukraine lost, but only because like we stopped supporting them and we started supporting Israel.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to be the perfect out. Kind of just like how with the vaccines, which obviously are completely safe and effective. And I recommend everybody get them because I love
always
them.
have been.
Yeah, I mean, you saw, right? Like we had a Pfizer booth at the wedding.
Yeah. Making sure everyone got boosted while they were there.
Yep. I was like Vouch, where like people that didn't want it, I was even just shooting a blow dart against their...
You were dosing people.
Get the fuck out of here. Hold on. You son of a bitch. Get out of here. Go.
These people are sick. This is obviously a very, very sick individual.
So,
these people are the sickest of all. These people are sick.
Dude, he's a real sick puppy.
You better get used to hearing it.
I figured it was a good time to intro the show.
Absolutely. Welcome to the show,
in.
folks. Dude, we honestly are so fucking back.
We're cooking.
Dude, post-ontological shift. This is a new spot.
It's a nice callback there.
Yeah. Dude, I had no idea that she was... Well, anyway, so... that's a deep cut.
That's lore.
So... Yeah, no, anyways, it's basically the same thing that they did with the vaccine, right? Yeah. Where it was like, oh, well, I mean, it would have been effective and good, but then it mutated a bunch, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, well, Ukraine would have won, but then the war mutated a bunch. And it's like, shut up, you fucking retards.
Yeah. The Ukraine would have won, but then Netanyahu started just being like, "Hey, psst, 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 over here,
over here." Then the Jews just got out of pocket as they wanted to do.
They're wilding out. Yeah, man. I think that's a good like assessment of what's going on. I think like we've said that people are stuck in that mindset of thinking that Russia's still like on the ropes, and I think that's because that's where the media like left off. Like, there's not been coverage, really, of Ukraine since then. It was just like, hey, Russia's on the ropes. And then, like, you just haven't heard anything about the details except for that we just need to keep sending them money. Like, it's just like, you know, no reporting from the ground there. It's just we need to keep sending them money, sending them infinite money. Dude, that's one thing that really gets on my nerves. And now we're going to be sending a lot of fucking money and a lot of weapons over to Israel to support another endless war that's been raging on fucking since I mean, really, this kind of war has been raging on since all time, but specifically this one since 1940 fucking 3.
Right.
Yeah, dude, I don't know, man. I think the whole thing sucks. Obviously, I don't really like war, and I've seen a lot of really like disheartening stuff and like kind of gross stuff from people, like on using this as like a chance to really like voice their support one way or another. Like I've been seeing people that are like left leaning or whatever, progressive, pro Palestine people, and they're like sharing all these videos that are like of bombings or like of Hamas like capturing leaders of like different Israeli groups, and they're like, hell yeah, haha, have a fun time, haha, like all this crazy shit. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? And then I've been seeing the same thing on the other side where it's like people just like using it as a chance to unload some like deep-seated feelings against like the Arab people, and so there's just like a whole bunch of ugly shit going on around it. Fundamentally, it's something that like it bugs me to no end that we're just so forever tied up with this goddamn country like Israel. I mean, it's just such a shit show. It's gonna always be, and it's just signing us up for like always being involved in this conflict, which is good for our elites, but it sucks for like just good morality and sucks for regular people across the planet.
Dude, honestly, like this situation is kind of a perfect example of just like I honestly just can't stand anyone involved in this whole situation.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and I think that getting a little bit too, it's like cool to like make fun of and do soy jacks of people that are like, I hate both sides, right?
Yeah.
But like, dude, this is a perfect example of that. And yeah, you see this stuff, and like there's a lot of videos up right now of like Arab people in Western countries just like, fucking spurging out and cheering about the death of Israelis. And I think like in some countries like there's been some violence against Jews, and it's a fucking mess. And to be honest, like it's this really deep rooted blood feuds.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I mean, like the based part of me sees this and it's like, I'm really we should literally stop importing this shit into our fucking country.
Dude, yes.
That would be kind of fucking cool. Because like, I don't need to see like dudes that would be members of Hamas, like waving Hamas flags around in the Big Lots parking lot. And it's kind of cucked that we did this. And then like similarly, I just like, dude, like, Israel is just completely demonic,
Right.
Talmudic Jews are pretty horrible people. I'm just tired of this whole thing. And you see like at this point, like the whole thing that's going on right now. And dude, and if people want to say that I'm like being cringe for doing the both sides thing, that's like completely fine. I think that people warp their brains because they're obsessed with like novelty online.
Yeah.
And it gets them to adopt opinions that are more novel than they are like true and reasonable. And when I see, okay, so on Twitter right now, the discourse for leftists is that there's these video. All right. I don't want to go too much into it, but basically there was a big music festival near the West Bank, and Hamas just rolled on in there and just kidnapped a bunch of like the most attractive women.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Was this before the hostilities broke out? Or I
think it's like basically at the same time.
Because I'm like, why would you have a fucking music festival there?
Well, that was there before the hostilities.
Okay,
right?
Okay.
Yeah, and people are, and there's videos of them kind of like, subduing these women and kidnapping them and parading bodies of like dead IDF women through the streets, yada, yada, yada.
I mean, these people are going to do fucked up things to those women.
Well, okay. And so there we arrive at the discourse, which is people saying like, oh, they're raping these women. And then the leftist position now is just like, well, there's no evidence that they've raped these women so far.
Dude, okay. What are we talking about? Bro?
And there was this one lady.
They raped their own.
Well, they raped their own sisters, but
yeah, that's what I was going to say. They raped their own fucking women nonstop.
So it's like, well, and this is the whole thing, right? Is that it's like, you can't even talk about this shit without getting, some intolerance mixed up in this.
Right. Well, I mean, both of them suck, dude. And it's like, we should have nothing to do with we should just wipe our hands of that shit and be like, y'all figure it out. And it's nothing to do with us. I know that's not possible, like, given geopolitical circumstances, but like, that's the way that I think about it.
So, you know how like there's always like a main character of Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay, so the post that everyone's making fun of right now is this lady Najma Sharif, who's like, you know, people already did the whole dive, and she's like some PMC fucking nonsense shit. And her post was, what did y'all think what did y'all think decolonialization fucking, oh my God. All right. Forgive me. Decolonization meant vibes, papers, essays, losers. To which, you know, people respond to her. Oh my gosh. Sorry.
Somali American writer based in Minnesota.
Yeah, well, also she got a Catherine D was just posting. This lady got a front page article in Soho House, home decor magazine, which is kind of perfect. But anyways, point is people respond to her and they're like, yeah, I mean, you know, they're like raping women,
right?
And so then the discourse becomes like, oh, well, you're not actually seeing any.
But the thing is, she's right. Like, these movements are going to devolve into that regardless. And like, I think that like the phrasing of like anti-colonialism is like made into like this, like, it's like a holy mandate of heaven kind of project. And so it's like, when you're saying, you know, it's supposed to be a good thing, and when she's saying like, look, this is happening for like a justified reason or whatever, but like, I think that's a wrong take. But I think that ultimately she's right, that like real on the ground tensions of like anti-colonial action, it's gonna be messy and gross, and that like it's gonna be this, like that's what conflict looks like at this level. So I mean, I think she's right. I don't like her like flippant attitude of like fuck around and find out kind of shit, but
oh, well, totally. I mean, like, that's like, I think that like, I think that also like historically it definitely, you know, bears out what you're saying. But I mean, I you know, and I think very correctly, I mean, the main thing people are kind of pointing out is that it's like, this is the same professional class of people that are like saying like, oh, we want a decolonization of the United States.
Right, for sure.
And then to be like, you I mean, you get the thing, right?
Yeah.
Anyways,
I mean, she's sitting in her fucking Soho home designed apartment writing freelance from fucking Minnesota.
Well, yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things these people don't really want to like understand, see, is that like, you know, decolonization would mean that she's, you know, getting her fucking head chopped off. But
right.
Anyways, and then, you know, on the other side, you have Jesus Christ. You have people like, you know, people of high positions talking about like, you know, they're shutting down the electricity and all internet access and water to the West Bank.
Yeah.
And, you know, Netanyahu is just like straight up posting videos of just like leveling. Buildings.
Residential buildings.
Yes.
Leveled to the ground, like 9/11 style, like
exactly. And so like, you know, honestly, at this point, like these fucking insane Jews and these insane Arabs are just like, they just like deserve each other at this point. Yeah. And I think it's fucking horrifying that there's like innocent men, women, and children that are getting killed in all of this. But like, you know, it's like rough to say.
And like always, like, we're over here fucking amping it up and like egging it on and making money on it, pouring fuel on the fire so we can make more fucking money on it. And none of it goes, like, we don't even reap the benefits of it. Like, that's the fucked up thing about it. Like, American people don't reap any benefits from this, even if it is horrible and stuff. It's like, theoretically, if it's making lots of money for our industries, we should see some sort of positive thing from it. We're not going to even see that. And so, like, there's not even anything to gain from all the terrible, horrible shit that's happening. It's just fucked. And then, like, we're wrapped up in it and are always going to be wrapped up in it. I don't know, bro. This shit pisses me off. But, like, the thing that you're talking about with them kidnapping all those women and stuff, that's, like, a thing, like, going back to this tweet a little bit, too, it's, like, through this, like, PR, like, kind of workshopping HRification of these concepts like decolonize and anti-colonial rhetoric, et cetera, that's been shopped around with all these pretty infographics. It's like, it gives this concept of like the people who are like in Hamas fighting are like these highly educated and like, you know, well-rounded, morally sound people who are just like going off of like, you know, it's anti-colonialism, so they just want their land back and they're just gonna, you know, just what it's like. And it makes it seem like it's just like this totally morally just thing, and no matter what they do is justified. And it's like, that's not correct. I mean, they have justification for their like their point of view. You know, they were displaced from their home from colonial people. They continue to do it, etc. So like, it's justified to fight back and want to get rid of that. But like, these people are also fucking radical maniacs, most of the people, because when you destabilize a country like that, it's going to open up like opportunities for people that are power hungry and who are sick in the head and have serious criminal and mental pathologies going on, and they're going to take the reins in these moments. And so like, you're going to have factions and people who are leading these movements that have horrible moral standards and who are going to be bringing people in that have also horrible moral standards. And so it leads to just like atrocity in the name of something that's like, you know, being sold over here is like totally justified. And then the same thing on the other side, where it's like, you know, it's just terrible. It's just so it's fucked, dude. And I'm more frustrated about this than the Ukraine Russia thing almost, because it's just like, I feel like people are a little bit more, it's more visceral, this is, because it's like religions involved and stuff like that, and it's just gross, dude.
Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare. It's a fucking nightmare, and the boomer cons are absolutely back at it.
Dude, Israel all fucking day, dude. God,
dude, they got Israelitis, dude, and well, it's the classic. It always comes down to, dude, the two things that American conservatives are actually interested in conserving is the free market and aid to Israel. And that's
so true. Yeah, that's it.
And then, you know, obviously you got like your Protestant evangelicals, which are, you know, just absolutely have the biggest fucking hard on for.
Right, dude. That's what I've been seeing a lot of. That's been frustrating me, because that's what I come up around, you know, Southern Baptist and fucking.
These people are fucking marks, bro.
It's nuts, dude.
They're fucking, they're totally conned, and like, it's embarrassing.
It's like, you got nothing to do with Israel, bro. Like,
you have nothing to do with fucking
Jesus
Israel.
came to set them straight, dude. What y'all talking about?
Well, dude, and all these Talmudic Jews, they think that Jesus is like in hell. Like, they fucking hate you, dude. They hate all of us.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's just like it's affiliation with them, because it's like, oh, the Holy Land or whatever, and it's like,
well, exactly. It's all about end time prophecies and bullshit.
All that shit's frustrating to me. I think it's like it's in bad taste all the way around as far as that goes. I've been seeing a lot of it from people I know from back home, and it's been overwhelming.
Yeah, I mean, it's embarrassing. And dude, again, it's just one of these things where it's like all these people owning leftists who are like, oh, you know, feminists and queers for Palestine, which is funny.
It's like, dude, right? They don't care about feminism and queers, bro. They want y'all out of there.
Right. And then just all of these, you know, normie cons just being like, oh my God, oh, America 2.0 got attacked. Oh, yeah. You know, and the funniest part is that it's like, it's everybody. It's like, all politicians.
Dude, if we could all just come together and be like, we're going to draw a fucking line in the sand. Y'all stay over there. Y'all stay over there. And if y'all start doing anything about it, we're getting rid of both of y'all. Like, that's what we should do. Like, if y'all start acting up, popping off, you're going to get like a 20-day limit, and y'all can either figure it out, or we're going to get rid of both of you. Because it's enough of this bullshit. You're bringing everyone in on it.
100%. Dude, Israel and Palestine just need to learn John Lennon Imagine.
Yeah, dude, they just need moms that love him a little bit more.
dude, honestly, we just need to get strong woman leaders in there. Dude, that was another funny thing. So Mia Khalifa, a real cultural icon.
Is that the
Yeah, I
porn
was just gonna
star
say you
broad?
probably don't know what that is.
Is that the porn star?
Yeah, that's
Okay, yeah.
that's
It
an
took me a
Arab
second to
broad.
rack my brain. I was like, "Fuck, hold on. I know this
It's
is a
kind of
familiar
funny
name."
Freudian slip. You said rack your brain.
Uh,
So, no, so no, and so this broad is talking about she tweeted out some shit, or sorry, X'd out some shit about
I was about to say, I was so confused there for a second when you said X'd out. I was like, what, did she post something that was redacted? Like, what?
no, just
But
that
now I know what
gay
you mean. Yeah.
Elon shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck was I even gonna
Mia
say? Sorry.
Khalifa.
Honestly, I'm like scrolling Twitter and just looking at just like horrible war footage. I don't know why I'm doing this, dude. There was like a video of some.
Don't just passively consume war footage.
I know, it's horrible, dude. There's like some video of like some Hamas guy shooting a dog.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, no. So anyways, it's like she made some post, talking about voicing support for Hamas, right, and what's going on.
Really?
And she got like dropped by like Playboy. And like the just like the whole joke, the whole joke has been just like the porn industry is owned by Jews, and so that's really funny. It was more than just Playboy. It was like it was like a bunch of different. And then the other thing is people just being like, dude, like, she couldn't exist for 5 fucking minutes in Gaza because they would like cut her head off.
Yeah.
So there's that.
That's so crazy. Ex-porn star Mia Khalifa expresses support for Palestinians.
Jesus.
Such a crazy. We're living in such a ridiculous reality, dude.
It's kind of a perfect example of this whole thing. Like, I'm looking at this right here, right? Of just like Rashida Tlaib is flying a Palestinian flag and an LGBTQ flag outside of her office, right? Okay.
These people don't know what the fuck is going on, dude.
No, and that's where, again, it's just one of these things where it's just like, dude, like, this is retarded. The response isn't to like support Israel, because Israel is horrifying, right? But just like, dude, just like, don't pick a side in this.
Yeah.
I would hope that in any situation you like oppose innocent civilians being murdered,
right,
and being placed in a fucking apartheid state.
Yeah.
Okay. It's always the little guy that gets fucked over in these situations. But bro, all of these people, all of these fucking cosmopolitan leftists that are like voicing support for Hamas right now, and
send them over there, let them fight for them.
Well, and basically just doing what they always do, which is just kind of making a fashion statement by having edgy politics that aren't really edgy in any meaningful way. These people fucking hate you.
Yes.
These people think you're a fucking degenerate. And like,
rightfully
even if
so.
Well, no, and they're correct in that, right? But like, even if you weren't a degenerate, they would just want to kill you because, like, you're secular, or like you're Western.
You're Western PMC, dude. They would smell that a mile away, bro.
No, exactly. Like, in a way, you're colonizing them too, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah, man, that's what they want to do, bro. They want to be like pro-Israel, not pro-Israel, pro-Palestine, and then like we can get gay flags over there somehow at some point in time, and then everything's going to be chill. There's going to be Muslim women in bikinis on the beaches again, like it's the 70s or whatever the fuck. That's like
right, which is also funny because Israel's all about the gay shit.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know what. The whole thing is fucking just convoluted and mixed up like in a blender. And it's just like people with these conflicting stances. Like the AOC and the squad did like a rally for Palestine today.
Wait, did they really?
Yeah, I saw some article. I tell you, my MSN gives me the most BoomerCon articles because it thinks that I'm always on here Googling like Hunter Biden or whatever, like while we're talking to figure out like what's going on. And so those are the only, I use this web browser only for this podcast. And so like, it's just getting the craziest shit. Like it just got Mia Khalifa Palestine typed into the Google. So like the algorithm is working up some weird things for me. And one thing I saw was like, major backlash against AOC and the squad's pro-Palestinian rally and all this shit. I think that the most just level-headed take on this, and the only one that I really will respect or appreciate from anybody, is the one that you said, basically, which is, this is fucked. Both sides are fucked. You shouldn't choose a side. We should stop giving fucking money and weapons to Israel and not give money and weapons to fucking Palestine either. And we should just be not having anything to do with this, because it's not for us. It's not about us. It's got nothing to do with us, really. Like, it does, because we've insinuated ourselves in there and created the situation. But, like, at a level of, like, a basic, regular individual American, it has nothing to do with you. And so the country's interests would be better served, as far as individuals that live in the country, citizens, if we just got out of there and had nothing to do with it. And then use the money we're giving to fucking Ukraine and giving to goddamn Israel. And then we take that money and put it into American stuff. It's like civilian conservation corps type shit, industrial projects, all sorts of stuff, infrastructure projects, stuff like that we could do. But instead, we're just going to fucking throw money into a pit of, like, human atrocity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a fucking nightmare, and again, it's just shit that's not going to go towards helping people in our own fucking borders that care about it. We're just gonna continue to just, like, unconditionally support an ethno-nationalist movement that just, like, literally hates us.
Yes.
And, like, you know, I see all these fucking videos of, like, these Orthodox Jews, like, spitting on Catholics and shit like that, like. And it's like, and I'm starting to kind of play into the, like, getting into the historical animosity, but I don't even want to fucking perpetuate this shit. What I want is to end this shit. I want no fucking part of it. I want no motherfucking part of it. Leave me alone, motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my stance. That's my baseline stance on, like, most all geopolitical conflict, because at the end of the day, it's just us putting our bases out around the world, stirring up conflict in order for our industries to make more money that we're not going to see any benefits of. And we're just leading to global atrocity, horror for people, torture for individuals, murder, really just like a moral blight upon the whole world. And we're just kind of, like, you know, working on that. That's kind of part of what we do. We're just like, yeah, that's what we do, bro. That's USA. That's just how it is. And it sucks. And I think that, like, most regular people, everyday people, are anti-war in a meaningful way. And I know that, like, anti-war can sound, like, kind of dumb or whatever, because it's like, war is going to happen here and there. It's a thing. It's just something that happens in civilizations over time and power struggles. But, like, there's a way to be functionally anti-war with your policy and the things that you support and where you give money to, and we could do that in a realistic manner. And there's, like, no one out there that's even talking about doing that except for RFK, who we could pivot to.
Yeah, well, you know, I might not have quite the
bright
I might
look
not
on
have the glowing take on RFK right now that you might be expecting, because RFK is pretty weak on Israel.
He's super weak on Israel.
He's super weak
sure.
well, honestly, I'm gonna just look him up right now, because I'm sure he's been posting cringe as of late.
I haven't seen him on Israel. He had a live.
He announced his third-party
run. Yeah.
Okay, let's see here. Some posts about indigenous people. I don't give a shit about that.
So it's Indigenous Peoples Day, Columbus Day today, Monday, October the 9th. And that was kind of like the impetus for his speech, kind of like what he built his speech on. So it's actually kind of on topic here. We've been talking a lot about anti-colonialism and
okay, well, here we go. Here we go. Hold on real fast. Sorry, I'm totally cutting you off, but I'm only going to read part of this. This this unprovoked, dude. I'm usually it's your role to mispronounce shit, and then I get to be smug.
Yeah.
But I'm fucking up. So this unprovoked and barbaric attack on Israel must be met with world condemnation and unequivocal support for the Jewish state's right to self-defense. We must provide Israel with whatever it needs to defend itself now.
That was RFK today.
Yesterday.
Jesus Christ.
And I'll make sure that our policy is unambiguous so that enemies of Israel will think long and hard about attempting aggression of any kind.
Yeah,
and that's the first half, but
well, that's super gay, and never mind then, I guess. But I mean, he's anti-war on the Ukraine thing in a significant way that actually makes good and like analytical sense. So I think that's something that matters. I don't know what to think about that Israel thing, especially not after his speech today. It's like,
well, here, let me. This is my take on it. Okay, so I'm kind of stoked on RFK right now because he's going independent now, right?
yeah, big
and
time.
I think he's the Judge Dredd of 2024, specifically because, all right, right now the whole thing he's been doing. I'm sorry am I rambling too much? Like, should I let you?
No, you're good.
Okay, sorry. Okay, he's been kind of like showing up Biden a little bit by being like, oh man, like look at the numbers he's getting. You know, I mean, it was never like enough to really bring Biden down a peg, but like, you know, taking the piss a little bit, right?
Yeah,
peeling
definitely.
a little support off him specifically. Okay,
Mhm.
well now he goes independent. He'll still be able to peel a little bit of support off him, but
Yeah.
you know who he's really going to be peeling support from is Big Don. Big Don and the
Definitely.
boys. Okay,
Dude, everyone that I see in the comments on Facebook or Instagram or anything of RFK posts, it's all Trump people who are like, I like you, I support you. People before the announcement he made today, people were hoping and asking him to run with Trump in the comments. Like, there's a lot. He's gonna peel a significant amount of votes from Trump, I believe.
Well, and a lot of that has to do with his own politics, and
Yeah.
probably more of it even has to do with just the nature of a third party run, right?
Definitely.
An independent run.
Yeah.
And the way I'm looking at it now, and you know, maybe this is a really stupidly simple take on it, but like he is the judgment come about COVID policy.
Mm-hmm.
And both Biden and Trump were little fucking retarded faggots about COVID.
Yep.
And RFK is going to show up, and every little bit of support that he takes from them, they have completely earned.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck them. Like, I'm saying this as somebody who, like, again, like I'm probably just going to vote for Trump, right? I probably will. But like, dude, fuck him for everything he did with COVID. Fuck Biden for all the.
Dude, Trump's just retarded, dude. I'm admitting it today. I looked on his. I was like just looking up some Trump stuff today, and like
Trump is legitimately kind of like just unintelligent.
It's just the whole. It's retarded, dude. And I support the whole thing of like anti-establishment. I've been vocally supportive of the movement of about MAGA, like that kind of shit. I don't need to rehash all of this, but like he's not the candidate I would want. Like he's not, his policies are not the things that I would want. Like I think it's just across the board reactionary, and I think that a lot of it speaks to things that I feel, but I don't think that it's in the right. I think it's wrong-headed, a lot of it. And
well, dude, I mean, fuck, let's look up.
I mean, dude, one thing I saw today was just a poster. He put a post on Instagram. It's just a big block thing that says "Drill, baby, drill." It's like, dude, what is this? Like fucking 2006 Republic? Like, what are we doing, dude? Like, I understand it's like, yeah, we're gonna combat this like Green New Deal shit, and like we're gonna like unleash American energy, and like there's a middle ground and stuff. But that type of bullheadedness on like anti-environmental type of shit is fucked, and I don't agree with it. And then just like a bunch of stuff across the board, it's just like I don't think it's right. I don't agree with it. I don't think he's I think RFK is like a good person, and I don't think that about Trump, and I definitely don't think about Biden either, or any of those people. And I guess it doesn't really matter, but that's just like how I'm feeling,
dude. It's straight up just like, you know, he's going to attack Biden for not supporting Israel enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you know, I mean, what else do you need to say? You know?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty high on RFK right now. The Israel thing kind of threw me, but like I already knew that he was like that a little bit, and also he did get pushed heavily in his congressional hearings about anti-Semitic leanings. People thought he was anti-Semitic for somehow or another. And so I think that part of it is like an overcorrection on that. And also a lot of it's like, he's a fucking Kennedy. So it's like, this family was like built on some, we're going to support Israel. And like, that's just kind of what it was like then and now.
Oh, I think I get what you're saying here. Sure.
And like, he came out today and he gave the speech where he's announced that he's running independent, which I like. I have been obviously like, the first thought you have as like someone who thinks is about politics in America is like, oh, the two-party system's retarded and we should break out of that. Like, that's the first thing anyone ever thinks. And so like, it's kind of like a return to tradition on just baseline entry level dissident thought. It's like, oh, maybe we can have an independent run. And so that's pretty cool. I think it's like a good thing to support that, trying to break out of that dichotomy a little bit. And then I watched his whole speech today and listened through to it, and I thought it was good. I mean, I think his voice is getting more stronger. I think he's able to speak with a better tone and you can understand him better. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe they've EQ'd him up better now or something, but that's good. And then like, I think it's a strong statement, him being like, my parents and grandparents and everything built the Democratic Party, basically, like made it the success that it is. And I'm now saying like, I'm out of here because this is so fucked and it's so wrong now. I think that's a condemnation of the DNC that's really strong, and I like to see that. I think it's going to hurt them overall big time, which I think is a positive plus. I think it's going to kind of hurt the DNC, and I think it's going to kind of hurt Trump a bit. And I think that's nice. It kind of just shakes things up. And then I mean, yeah, like you said about COVID, dude, he touched on that in the speech too. Like, okay, so what I was saying about Indigenous People Day, he came out and did it in Philadelphia, and he gave a speech today, and he started it off by talking about how his dad, RFK Senior, RFK was going around and campaigning, and he stopped in the Lakota tribe in South Dakota and spoke with these indigenous people, blah, blah, blah. And his campaign manager was like, why are you talking with these people? And he was like, I mean, look, they need help, whatever. Anyhow, he gives this whole thing about his dad, the whole member kind of thing. You remember when it was good, remember my dad, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, yeah.
I remember Bobby Kennedy.
Basically that exact thing. That's the thing. That's one thing that frustrates me a lot. He banks so much on like, member, like that's his whole thing. But that's it's fundamentally what Trump is too, with Make America Great Again. It's like, member, back further. And so I think he came out, it was Indigenous People Day, he gave that speech, and he was like, it's good because now we're at a place with our country where we're able to start telling the stories of those who are dispossessed of their way of life and have lost their way of life. And he said, and now there's more. And he started saying, including people who are dying deaths of despair from drug overdoses, people who can't afford to get health care for their families, those living in destitution, farmers that can't drink their own water, people that got outbid on a home by hedge funds. Like, he starts doing this whole thing. He's like, these are the dispossessed now, and we're here to claim their independence, blah, blah, blah. Really, like, powerful kind of thing. Does a lot of hearkening back to the founding fathers, which is good, like traditional American kind of shit. Feels pretty good. And then he said about COVID, like in the strain of like a long speech, he said, quote, people boarded up their hopes and dreams, and Amazon cashed in big checks. That's based. I mean, he's talking about corporations, about corporate capture, about claiming independence from the corporate regulation in America. And I think that like that's all good. And like, I mean, he's speaking to stuff that I want to hear. He said, quote, old political alignments are dissolving. And then one big thing, that the big takeaway for me, is he talks about how because he's running independent, he is going to be someone who is not doing one thing that's the left thing or the right thing, but what's actually right. And so like one thing he said was, recently he went and visited the border, and it changed his mind on border policy. He said, 6 months to a year ago, if you had asked me about open borders, I would have told you that's a humanitarian policy. It's a must. And if you said anything about the border, like closing it down, I might would have called you a bigot, a racist, a xenophobe, whatever. But then I went down to the border and I met and I saw the situation there on both sides. I met with the people that were immigrants. I met with the people working border control, people in the areas. And he was like, and I changed, like it changed my mind on the situation. And he's like, and I'm no longer support an open border. And I think that there are serious things we need to do at the border to tighten it up. And so he's like, I'm going to admit when I'm wrong when that kind of thing happens, which like, to me, the thing about the border was like, that's a positive that he's not just super pro open border. And he's going to come out and admit that. I think he's jockeying a little bit for the like Fox News Independent,
Yes.
like kind of voter crowd with that kind of stuff. And I think it's smart and I think it's going to work. And so like, I'm going to vote for him. I decided today, like I was on the fence, like, am I going to even register or anything? I'm going to go out and I'm going to vote for RFK this year because like, I don't really love what he does with Israel. I think ultimately he's just a fucking like classical liberal. And so like, it's not like it's going to really bring the type of economic changes I want to see or anything. But I think the talking points he has are in the right direction. And like to get that kind of mentality of for someone who's going to be a leader in the nation. And I mean, he said like, he's like, I'm going to put, I'm just going to do what's right for my people and like under the eyes of my creator and this and that, the other. I mean, he's like, I think he's just a solid, pretty rounded, well-rounded person that's genuine and authentic. And like, I think that's pretty good. And a classical liberal kind of take on that shit when you couple it with like the anti-vaccine stuff and everything else is almost refreshing. And it's like, yeah, I'm okay with that.
Dude, I think RFK, and I'm trying to come up with a good way of putting this. I mean, you basically hit the nail on the head by just calling him what he is, which is just like a classical liberal. But he's like, and hear me out here, okay? Because I mean this in a good way, and he's like a middle class reactionary in a way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Of like, he's just like, and I'm willing to be forgiving about the Israel stuff for him because it's just parroting. He's trying to win middle class boomer parents, which are people who support Israel, right? He's talking about home ownership. He's talking about the vaccine. He's talking about shit that middle class, that's his whole fucking platform, right? Yeah. And so because of that, like, he's not some great, leftist candidate, right? And he's certainly not some like great, traditionalist, fucking reactionary candidate or anything. He's not, he's like a centrist that was plucked out of time from like 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. Right. And there's like something kind of nice about that. And so I'm kind of with you, man. I'm kind of with you. I'm with you. At the end of the day, like I'm still probably going to vote for Trump over him. But I get it. I think that there's like a lot to criticize, but like I do like the pitch of just the like, I'm going to just go all in on middle class politics.
Yeah.
Because I think also I remember endless conversations of trying to convince normies to support Bernie Sanders. Mm-hmm. And like this exact thing I'm talking about being one of the biggest impediments, which is basically which is basically just like, well, I'm a middle class person who owns a house. Mm-hmm. What the fuck? This is going to fuck me over in a number of ways.
Right.
And like, I guess it's kind of an example of basically just like, don't let the perfect be the enemy of the good.
Yeah. That's my thing with the RFK for sure.
Exactly. Well, and then at the end of the day too, I'm not going to act like I can over intellectualize it. At the end of the day, the biggest thing is just like, bro, like, COVID is the thing. Mm-hmm. COVID is the fucking thing.
And he's the man on the COVID as far as like any political candidate's concerned.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean, he's the only one that's talking about the chemicals in the food. He's literally talking about atrazine turning frogs gay and shortening their taints. Like, he's talking about based shit, dude. Like, and I think it's stuff that matters in a way that's not just to middle class people. Like, these are not immediate economic concerns, but these are concerns about the way that we are nourishing and constructing our nation and people. And I think that that's a fundamental, it's a holistic approach to the problems that are going on in America. I think it's not a strict economic materialist angle, and I wish that it had more of that. I wish he would talk more to wages. I would like he makes these offhanded remarks about how Americans can't afford, basic necessities and this and that the other, but doesn't really make a whole lot like on how you would address that. But I think it's like he's at least paying lip service to the things that like I think matter, and he's talking about shit and shedding light on like industrial agriculture, like the environmental pollution that's an issue, but not with like this like Green New Deal approach, but with an approach that's actually rooted in reality. And I think that's pretty big. I mean, he did the thing where he talked about how carbon is essentially making the whole climate change issue more abstract than it should be. Literally the talking point that we have all the time. He's saying shit that I just agree with. And that's what it is for me. I think I'm gonna vote for him. Yeah, dude, I think it's gonna be pretty. I'm hoping he gets some amount of numbers. I mean, I don't think he's gonna win, I'm for sure, but I think that he could get he could have a significant independent turnout. Like, I think what you were talking about with the Bernie thing is, like I said a few weeks ago, that he's like if Bernie had balls, and
Yeah.
I meant that like I didn't mean it like with his policies or anything. I mean it with like his appeal. He has that like anti-establishment appeal to an extent, but he's still in the establishment because he's a fucking Kennedy, so he's like still from that ilk. Same thing with Bernie, where he was like, he's a social democrat, so he's like positions as being anti-establishment, but he's not really. But like, he's actually willing to go outside the party and go independent. He's actually willing to be like putting his nuts on the table about this kind of stuff and not just bowing to AOC bullshit. He's willing to actually go across the aisle, it seems, in a meaningful way. And he's like, I think he's going to drum up a lot of that vote of people who were like either Trump or Bernie people, which is what I was. Like, I was like, I'm either going to be for Trump or for Bernie, whoever is a realistic option, because I'm sick of this other regular shit. And I think he's like a little bit more genuine approach of like, as an individual, bucking the system. Like, I think that Bernie's like economic stuff, whatever, it was all weak dick anyways, to be honest, but it was like something. I think that stuff, like, it was cool and it interested me, but like, I think that RFK is more like just bucking the system, as far as like, I'm just going to do what I think is right. And like, I'm going to say things that are going to get me ostracized from the DNC and from the RNC, actually, not like just for show like fucking Bernie did. So that's like, I think that's my thing on the Bernie. Like, I think he'll be able to get a little bit more support from people who are not just like young leftists.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's going to get support from just normies. And that's a really important thing. Like,
he's a normal candidate, dude. He's just the candidate for normies. Like, I think.
Yeah. I think that's, and I'm trying to say it in like the best way possible, right? Because it's like there's always going to be normies, right? And so like, there's always going to be normies. We want the normies to like be believing like fun based shit, like anti-vax stuff, and
Right.
like, the CIA is evil, as opposed to being like, we should accept decolonization and, murdering and raping women.
Right. Yeah, I think he's doing a little bit of both sides, kind of playing both sides thing. And he's like, I think he's legitimately kind of trying to do a populist approach, like across the aisle thing, which is really like, I think fundamentally what I've been looking for out of a candidate. I was hoping that Bernie would have the nuts to go independent, and I was wishing in the bottom of my heart that Trump wouldn't have run into GOP in the first place, stuff like that. So I think I think that's why I like it. I just something that's shaking it up, man. I'm just, I think that the Trump thing is like, I don't think I don't know. If he comes back and like, even if he gets in office, I just don't think it's going to be anything. Like it wasn't really, I think it'd be nice to be like, fuck y'all and get Trump back in office. But like, I don't think it's going to help me. And I don't think it's going to really advance my interests as an individual, except for like, he did say in the recent speech, he was like going to defund schools or whatever that do quote unquote trans,
Who said that?
Trans insanity Trump.
Oh,
So that's
sure.
based. So I like that, but like,
Yeah, that's fun.
I just don't think that he's actually.
Also, to be fair, I'll say this to be honest, I like don't even really know if that's like an effective strategy. Like I don't.
No, it's not.
I don't feel anything super strong towards that, but just in like the kind of like dumb internet poisoned way, I'm just kind of like, yeah, all right, cool.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm homeschooling.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah, I see. So that's like what it is for me. It's like he says stuff like that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. But at the end of the day, I don't think he's going to actually, like, any of his policies are going to actually be in my better interest, really. Like, I don't think that's really going to be the case. Whereas I think that it's possible RFK could do a couple things that could help me get a house, or something like that, which would be sweet for me. So.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. Well, what else did we have to talk about?
I don't know, really. I mean, I have one thing that was just, this is nothing anymore. The time has passed, I guess. But from when we were going to record before the wedding, like one of the big things that was going on then was like the Fetterman and the dress code that was going on.
No, I want to talk about this. This is a perfect topic for us. Hold on. I'm going to text my wife and see if she can bring some food in here.
Ooh.
Like being a little boy. It's not, for anyone listening, don't get too excited. I literally made the fucking food.
Woman, bring me food now.
Can you bring me dinner, please? I love you. Hell yeah. What was I gonna say? Fetterman showing up like little sloppy John Fetterman.
Yeah.
I want to hear Trump give him a nickname.
God, I would love it.
Didn't he? He already did Sloppy Steve Bannon, right?
Yeah, I don't know, but that makes perfect sense. If he did do that one, that's hitting the nail on the head.
He looks disheveled. I mean, what do you think? I mean, I'll say this. As a Catholic, I like formality.
Right. Yeah, dude, you're the fucking dress for the job you want, not the job you have, and you have one of the highest jobs in the land. So, dude, get fucked. Dress good. You know what I mean? Like, dress for success. You're over here leading our country into fucking just absolute decline.
Well,
and it looks like it.
Also, like the mimetic aspect of it, like when he's like, it's like you can have your own individual views of it, but like there's a shared culture, right?
Yeah.
And when you're showing up to these meetings with like a fucking like French ambassador and you look like the guy who's gonna clean his fucking air ducts, dude.
Right.
It's like, and I'm not trying to make some classist point, right?
No, it's you obviously just don't give a fuck about what's going on here.
Yes.
Like, and not enough to show the respect of at least putting on some proper fucking clothes, dude. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? If you're gonna go step on a golf course, you're gonna put on a golf tee and the proper attire. If you're gonna go into Congress, put on a fucking suit. Or at least a button-up, dude. And I don't want to hear about, he had a stroke and he can't put a button on or whatever the fuck. If he can't put a button-up on, he shouldn't be in goddamn Congress.
Wait, why can't he put a button-up on?
There was he's the one that had the stroke, right? Fetterman?
Yeah, he stroked out like once or twice, I thought.
Yeah, he's like stroked out. He's like basically a fucking mental like midget. He's going around like I don't know, dude. He just like wants to wear fucking Carhartt hoodies and baggy button-up short sleeve t-shirts. Like, no, dude. I don't care that you had a stroke. I don't care that you're hanging on for your life. I don't care what's going on. You need to put on a suit. And like, I don't know. It's been frustrating.
Did you see Rand Paul showing up to Congress wearing a fucking bathrobe?
Holy fuck, dude. No, but that's such a Rand Paul thing, bro.
Like he's looking like little Ebenezer Scrooge, dude. It's
Let
honestly
me
kind of
see.
funny.
I googled it. Oh, dude, he's wearing a red bathrobe too, bro.
It's a
Hold
pretty
on.
good look. It's a strong look.
Wait a minute. It looks like this. I'm seeing that it's made with AI. It was an AI fake,
Oh, was it really?
apparently. Yeah, but it would have been good. I'd like to see him go and filibuster on the Senate floor in a bathrobe.
Dude, straight up, that's the first time. That's the first time right there that that in real time. That's the first time an AI image has gotten me.
Dude, it's gonna happen more and more as we go on.
That's fucking.
I'm seeing
wild.
all the time. I'm in like these archaeology and like stuff like what's it called, architecture and stuff like that. I'll be in groups and I'll see people post pictures that are like, oh, why don't we have this anymore? And it's just complete AI. And it's like, yeah, because it never existed, dipshit. What are you talking about? So yeah, that's just gonna be going on now. Like there's just gonna be so much AI stuff everywhere, art and like deep fakes and all of that. I mean, think about India, dude. They used it for a state-sponsored space mission. So,
Dude, honestly, dude, India's on fucking notice, dude.
India's been on notice, dude. They've been on notice ever since they just like neglected to help poor people because of karma. You know what I mean? Like they were like, "Oh, the untouchables, we will not help."
That's
Yeah,
exactly.
they've
what
been
they
on
said.
watch and on notice since then, bro. Get fucked.
Yeah, dude. So I don't know, John Fetterman. I mean, John Fetterman's just annoying in general. Like
Yeah.
one of the most annoying things about like John Fetterman is that he's this kind of like genre of dude that never caught on in the first place, but he kind of made it through all the filters and actually got elected, which
Yeah.
was basically the like folksy schlubby guy that Democrats could muster up
Yes.
to counter Trump's schlubbiness.
Right.
And basically it's basically just like the like Democrats like I have a black friend thing,
Mm.
except just like them proving that they like don't hate their plumber, right?
Yeah.
Except that never caught. Remember, people kind of tried to do that with Michael Avenatti, where it was like he was like the kind of like scummy kind of Jewy New York sleazebag.
Yeah.
But he was a Demo, and I'm sure he's not. I think he's not Jewish. I mean, that's like an Italian name. But anyways,
Yeah, but there's a lot of intermingling between the Italian and the Jewish
I mean, he's
cultures.
spiritually Jewish, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's certainly not a practicing Catholic. I'll tell you that much. Anyways, no, but this motherfucker, it's like that, right? And then like that obviously never caught on because he's like in prison now. And it's just like you look at Fetterman, and it's just like, dude, do we have to like pretend that anyone takes this guy seriously, at least aesthetically? Because it's just like you were like a focus group test.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Like all of the other failed clones just like died in their test tubes, and you like you like stroked out, like, and like I don't know, I shouldn't make fun of the man having a stroke because it's fucked up.
But dude, if you have a stroke, you should recuse yourself from political positions. That's what I think. I'm going to start putting that one out there. We got enough people. We could fill the spot with someone that hasn't had a stroke and isn't likely to have another one right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a really crazy statement just to be like, health problems that compromise your mental capacities need to be like, need to be considered basically a deal breaker.
Yeah, he's like a charity case, dude. Like he's like a Make-A-Wish just to have this guy in the Senate. Like, what are we doing? They're accommodating him with the dress code, loosening it so he could wear his bullshit, and then like there was a bunch of backlash, so now they've reverted that, and so like they changed it back to where there is a strict dress code now. And so like, but anyways, it's like, why are we accommodating this fucking fat retard, dude? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, bro? Like, it's like we have a country to run here.
Well, isn't this like the whole fucking thing with all this stuff, is that it's always just like exception to the rule?
Yeah,
is the rule, right? Of just like, dude, we can't. It's actually ableist to have a dress code in Congress because of all of the retarded congressmen that are
right.
that are so fucked up from stroking out that they can't button buttons. But you know, they're in charge of, you know, like helping to operate the single largest empire in human history.
Yeah.
What the fuck,
dude? Mitch McConnell fucking freezing up. This dude
Mitch
not
McConnell
like...
straight up shitting his britches in front of people, dude.
It's
Dude, Mitch McConnell
crazy.
straight up shit his britches in front of all those people.
Dude, this is just like literally looking at an empire in decline, and it's like rapidly accelerating, dude. Like it's like the whole what is it? The emperor has no clothes or whatever, but it's like this dude just, it's like the emperor is wearing shitty clothes. That's Fetterman.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He's got a sleeve too. He's got a tattoo sleeve. They won't even let me show a tattoo sleeve when I work a menial fucking job flipping burgers. Why do they let him show his tattoo sleeve in Congress, bro? What's happening?
Dude, he just looks horrible. I hate him. Dude.
He looks so bad, dude.
He looks so fucking bad. I'm just like looking at pictures of him. I honestly, this is one of my favorite topics we've done because it's just so fucking petty.
Yeah.
He looks like the Grimace, dude.
Yeah, he looks like Grimace mixed with Grouch.
And he looks like one of those fucking annoying douchey dudes that like works at like the Harley dealership and is just like, all right, son, you want to rethink that, son? You want to rethink making hate speech jokes online, son?
Yeah.
And then he like acts all hard and you're like, oh, did you like serve time or something? And he's like, no, I spent 30 years. But I'm fucking hard. I spent 30 years selling insurance, brother. And it's like, dude, you're fucking gay, dude. Like, you just like the most hard thing about you is that like your dad worked for the railroad or something.
Yeah.
So you just like have good genetics that make it so that you look strong regardless of what you do.
He looks like he like should be working with Frank Sabatka and the crew. You know what I mean? Like
100%,
looks like a dock worker or something, not like an insurance salesman. He looks like a guy with
this guy, dude. He also looks so different in so many of his pictures. That might be a stroke thing. I don't actually know.
He looks like a guy that's wearing a mask that's supposed to look like John Fetterman. Like one of those like nice but not really that nice masks that they use for like skit shows or something.
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. It's like the masks from like Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
Dude, some of these pictures it makes his head look way too small for his body.
Yeah, I mean, he's fluctuating crazily with weight. I don't understand it.
There is a level of fluctuation going on with him that I don't really like. Also, look at on Google Images the very first picture of him. Straight up, if you just change the color of his skin, he would just look like a black man.
Dude, you talking about his Wikipedia image?
Yes, dude. He looks like a hotep. He straight up just looks like a hotep, dude.
Look, dude, put a kufi on him and
dude,
make him black.
Up. Honestly, that's gonna be my new profile picture.
Dude,
yeah, dude, I hate this guy. This guy's a fucking dork, and like, and the thing that pisses me off too is like, he looks like a fucking mechanic when he's showing up in that jacket.
Yeah,
or in that shirt.
Yeah, this is he's gonna do janitorial work in the Senate building.
And before anybody gives me a hard time about this, if Trump did this, I would think it rocks. Okay, I would straight up think it rocks. All right.
Dude,
but John Fetterman's doing it, and he's like part of the club that's all about like, oh, we got to respect the process, and like, we're saving democracy. And it's like, shut up, bitch! You look like a fucking. Change my fucking brake pads, dude. Shut the fuck up. And honestly, I'm making fun of him for that reason because he is literally just, it's the whole optics of his whole fucking shtick. Is just like, look at me, I'm just old. You know, working class Joe didn't work out, so they're trying working class stroked out Fetterman, and I hate it. Dude, the more I'm looking at pictures of, I'm sorry, I'm just going off, but the more
he makes me so mad.
He does make me mad, and the more I'm looking at him, it's just like, he looks like Hellboy, where like his legs are too small, and he's got a tiny ass little pinhead.
He does. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and dude, he was just a fucking guy that they just shoved in instead of Dr. Oz. Like that was the thing too. Is like he was just a fucking patsy, dude. Like there's some. They were like, yeah, we're just gonna shove him in. Like I remember that. Like we talked about Fetterman during the election as being like just some stroked out retard, and like. Now he's just back in like in the limelight in such a major way. It's like, what are we doing, dude? Put him in the corner and leave him there until he's out of office.
Well,
get him out.
Straight up, like he's like Dr. Oz is the only guy that could get this fucking potato head elected.
That's so true, dude.
Like his election doesn't even count because he was going against a fucking television snake oil salesman.
Yeah,
dude.
right.
Like Dr. Oz makes me basically into like a fucking like debunking lib.
Yeah. Dude, I was thinking about Dr. Drew.
Yeah. I feel
So
like
I
kind
was-
of a similar thing.
Yeah, right. But he, instead of pivoting into politics and like My Pillow kind of energy, he pivoted into like he just does a podcast on the channel that Tom Segura runs. And so he's like, he was right. He was like, yeah, I mean, basically it was all bullshit. I was a snake oil salesman. It's all just entertainment. But yeah, that's what it is, and I'm gonna do that. Whereas Oz like pivoted into like, yeah, I'm gonna be a fucking politician now and act like it actually all was real and sincere, and it's crazy. Like the Dr. Drew thing, it seems like an honest, reaction to a changing media landscape where he's like, yeah, dude, actually it was entertainment and it was bullshit. Whereas Dr. Oz is like going villain mode.
Dude, honestly, I fully support Dr. Oz and John Fetterman just starting a podcast together.
Holy fuck, that would be everything.
Yeah, call it the Fetterman Post.
Dude, can we get Fetterman on?
The Fet Post. Dude, I don't know. He's probably retarded enough to come talk to us.
Yeah, that'd be funny as hell. All right. Well, you know what? I don't know if I have anything else, Slav.
Dude, I think we're pretty much good. I mean, this broad isn't bringing me my dinner, so...
Oh, yeah, you can go out there.
Dude, Jesus Christ. I work my hands to the fucking bone.
Yeah.
Right? And I can't even get my chicken thighs and quinoa with roasted chickpeas brought up to me. I've never made roasted chickpeas. It was actually just the only like thing I had in the fridge that I thought was roastable. Because here's what I do. Sorry, I'm just torturing you with rambling, but I'm going to say
fine.
this bit. What I like to do is I like to make a carb that's like not too egregious, like quinoa.
Yeah.
Right? Make a protein to go with it, right? And I generally like red meat, but doing some chicken, sure, a little chimkin. And then I'll just I've started doing this recently, actually. I realized, dude, I can just properly roast like a couple servings of vegetables in the toaster oven, and then I don't need to have it be like a long thing, right? And because that's the problem. It's like I roast vegetables, and it's like, okay, well, like it takes forever to heat up the oven. And then I have a bunch of leftovers I don't want. So I just do it in the toaster oven. It's like instant, and it does it just as good. So I'm trying chickpeas because chickpeas are actually like bussin' for real.
I fuck with the chickpea, dude.
And I'm getting into it. Like I wasn't in the past. I feel like chickpeas are kind of like a hippie vegan kind of thing. And I'm just trying them out now, and I'm like, oh, I fuck with this.
Yeah, man, chickpeas are good. I just had chickpea pasta last night, mac and cheese. It was pretty good for me. And then hummus is good. And then just roasted chickpeas or just kind of cooking them like you would beans or something works well. I'm pretty new to the chickpea game too, though, as of maybe the past couple of years. And quinoa too. I was, type of person that was calling it quinoa. That was my move.
Yeah, I remember a job I had where I was like, where I literally like called it quinoa to a customer, and they were like, "What did you say?" And I was like, "Quinoa," and they're like,
"Yeah,
you mean quinoa?" And I was like, "No, I'm pretty sure it's quinoa."
Yeah, yeah, I did the
and
same
I
thing.
think about that, and I live in just the nightmare of knowing I did that.
Yeah, I did that on a date one time. We were like ordering at a counter somewhere, and I was like, "Yeah, let me get some quinoa," and she was like, "That's quinoa," and I was like, it looks like quinoa.
And she's like, all right, can we split the check?
Well, at least she knew what she was getting herself into right off the bat there.
Totally.
Guy who mispronounces words because he's only read them.
Yeah, you guys aren't going to be, producing, the person that's going to cure cancer.
I mean, I'd like to think maybe I could, but he's not going to know how to pronounce the word for the medication.
Well, to be fair, I think generally kids get their intelligence and IQ from their mother. So.
Oh well, shit! I gotta swing up, dude.
That's right.
All right, bro. Well, go set your house in order, and
I don't know why that got me, dude. Well, hell yeah, dude. Fucking good to be back. Let's record a bonus this week. I think I don't even know, man. I think we were gonna watch a movie.
Yep. Yeah, I watched
sorry.
one of them. We were thinking about doing a 2-movie thing, and I watched one of them, and I was gonna watch the other tomorrow.
Hell yeah, dude. I'll catch up. I've kind of been out of it, to be honest. But I'll get on the ball and we'll do it.
Word. Hell yeah, dude. Have a good night.
I'll talk to you later.
These people are sick. This is obviously
I
a
never
very, very sick
expected.
individual. These people are the sickest of them
Never
all.
expected.
These people are sick. They are sick. And you better get used to hearing it. These people
Hell yeah.